All right, good morning, everybody. It is 11 a.m. Central Time. Thanks for being here. And I know some of you planned on joining me again today after hanging out yesterday for a couple of webinars. So if you are hopping on again for another day in a row, I appreciate you. Thank you for being here. I hope your Wednesday is good. You guys, you're halfway through your week. You're on the downhill slide now. While we wait for a few more people to get signed in, I'm going to go ahead and just talk about what we have to offer you guys here at Archery Review because I truly believe that the resources that we have developed and are continuing to develop for you all are just are top notch. I just don't think that they can be beat, and I think that they're the best resources to help you prepare for not just passing your exam but excelling, retaining all of this knowledge beyond just an exam. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. I know there's a lot of QR codes here. Bear with me. So right now I'm going to start on the right-hand side just because we are currently in a webinar now. So let's talk about those webinars. We always will have some free webinars for you guys for the time being. I do know we're talking about having some more like paid webinars in the future too. That's going to look a little different, but I know that for the time being, we're still going to have free webinars as well. So free live webinars right here. Take a look at our schedule. We have a bunch of different science webinars, but we also have, grammar webinars. We've got reading comprehension. We've got all kinds of math webinars. You need it. We got it. So free live webinars, get on the calendar, check out what we have, put an alarm on your phone so that you don't miss them. But just in case you do happen to miss some webinars, or you're planning ahead and you know you're going to be gone, you're not going to be able to watch it live, you can go back and rewatch any of our webinars as long as they are, past streamed so that they've been archived. We've got a whole library of our former webinars. They are still free. Go ahead and check those out. Our webinars are awesome. They're free. We cover, at least all the topics, but we definitely don't cover those topics in depth, okay? And we know that your exam is going to need you to have some of this content knowledge at a deeper level. So that's where I'm going to go ahead and show you guys next are the on-demand videos. So this is where you're going to get access to all of that teaching about all of these topics, but on a much deeper level. So instead of just talking about it, I'm just going to show you. So let me hop on over here. Once you sign up at Archery Review, and I should say, you can sign up, guys, for a free 24-hour trial period. There's nothing to lose, right? So make sure you're getting signed up. Once you get logged in, this is what's created for you. It's a student dashboard. So what you're seeing first is our question bank. I'll come back to that because I was already talking about on-demand videos. So again, you've attended webinars or you're just checking us out for the first time today. You're going to get content knowledge, but it will be surface level. All right. On-demand videos here, free 24-hour access. This is the stuff that's going to get you into much greater detail that you need to not just pass your exam, but to excel. Okay. So what I love about our program is we are able to individualize your learning needs every step of the way. And right here, you can see that begin to happen. In our on-demand videos, you can go to English or reading or math or science. So let's go ahead and go to science. I'm a science teacher. Let's dive into what we've created here. Again, I can further individualize my needs. Today's webinar is all about anatomy and phys. So let's go ahead and jump to that section. And the practice test today is going to cover sections 7 through 12. So S.1.7-S.1.12, we did this practice test yesterday. So let's go ahead and scroll to some of today's. Oh yeah, we're going to start with the reproductive system. So when you look at this video, this teaching is 37 minutes and 52 seconds long. When we cover this in the webinar, it was maybe 10 minutes long, maybe not even. So you definitely get more out of this on-demand video lesson. And what's great about our on-demand videos, see how there's different segments? We call these timestamps. You can go ahead and jump around, again, meeting the needs for what you know you need as a learner. Maybe you are really awesome at female internal anatomy, but when it comes to, hormone regulation, what is that about? You can skip all this. You can jump right to the areas that you need to improve on. How awesome is that? I know time is precious for everybody, but especially when you are in school, when you're working a job or two, maybe so for some of you, three, and some of you even have families. Time is precious. And when you can really jump around and cater to just your individual learning needs, that is special. So we've got that designed for you here at Archer Review. So let's go ahead and click into that. When you click into our on-demand videos in our previous learning. Nope, there's my voice there. You are not going to see the video at home through your screen right now. This is just protected to preserve our security, our privacy for our product. But once you do sign in, there's of course a video here. You'll probably see my face in the upper right-hand corner. So you will get the video. But I want to bring your attention over here to the right-hand side because I'm not done showing you the resources that we have developed for you. You will get access to the handout. So all of the material that I used to create your learning. So this on-demand video, and we use a case study to teach you along the way. Practice questions along the way. You are going to get access to this entire slide deck. You can download it, print it off, annotate it as you go through that lesson. But what I think is honestly probably even better, I love these cheat sheets, guys. Here I am 3 days in a row proclaiming my love for these cheat sheets. I just think that they're beautifully designed. We have taken all of the essential learning from that lesson. We've provided the visuals and we've provided the breakdown from that lesson. So just a really quick, here's the essential components from that lesson. If we had to put it all on one page or, even 2 pages, here's what it is. And if I was a student, I would print these off poster size. I'd put them around my study space. I would laminate them. I would put them in a binder. I would do all the things with these cheat sheets because I just think that they're essential and they're beautiful. And I think that they're going to be really, really helpful to all of you. So again, you have access to that free 24 hours. We've got notes and we've got cheat sheets for every single lesson. All right. So that's on-demand videos. Let me go ahead now and talk about our Q Bank. Our question bank, we try so hard as educators here at Archer Review to align these questions as best as we can to your TEAS exam. Okay, so we have studied material. We are educators ourselves. We're pretty good at aligning practice test questions, aligning our content to meet the needs of an end goal or your test, for example. So when you look at this question bank, you'll see a whole tab on statistics. Our program is able to track all of your question strengths and your weaknesses. Which questions are you getting incorrect? And you're even able to go into remediation where you are able to rework incorrect questions out so you can only improve, get better and better, and understand why you're getting things, wrong. How do you need to think differently or approach that question differently in order to get it right? Again, just to help you improve and excel on that exam. So I'm going to create a test for you, just quick, so you can get a feel for it. Let's do timed because we know that your exam will be timed. And I'm just going through unused questions. You could go ahead and go through your incorrect questions only. Again, you can customize this. I'm just going to leave it as it is, just for the sake of showing you. So let's say let's do anatomy, because today's practice test is anatomy, but you can choose multiple, right? Individualizing your needs every step of the way. Now in anatomy, I chose to click unused topics. So let's do immune system, let's do urinary system and create a test. And once it's created for you, it will mimic your testing environment as much as possible. I've said this before, but science shows that as long as science shows that when we keep formatting consistent, whether that be through practice test questions, through the learning platform, and then finally the test exam, if the formatting, if the text size, text font, all those little details kept consistent, somehow in your brain, it just helps improve success to a greater degree. So here's your testing platform to mimic that environment as much as possible. Okay, so those are our QBank and our on-demand video resources. I'm going to go ahead and jump back to our practice test so that you can get QR codes to scan that, because you guys, this is free, 24 hours for you. What are you waiting for, right? It's free 24-hour period. So I know you're going to want to have access to this. Scan these QR codes right here. Now, beyond the free 24-hour period, because I am willing to bet once you get in there, you start going through the questions, over 2,000 questions, by the way, over 2,000 practice questions. Today, I think I've set up maybe 16, if I remember right, 18. You've got over 2,000 in this QBank. So I know you're going to need access to this beyond 24 hours. I hope you will want access to this. Check out our packages down below. We have a Sure Pass package and a Sure Pass Pro package. I'm going to go to the next screen so you can see what's involved in each. In our Sure Pass package, you will get access to our question bank and those on-demand videos I showed you way beyond that 24-hour period. Okay, so you'll have access to the essentials. But let's say you get close to your test exam or your testing period, your exam, and you realize like, oh, I am just still not wrapping my head around, reproductive systems or this math content or reading comprehension. I'm just struggling still. I wish I had someone to lean on and a tutor. This is where your Sure Pass Pro option comes in. Built into this discounted bundle, you will have access to a tutor, a 1-hour tutor session you can use however you want to. But you will be able to have either that one-on-one tutoring, or I'm just going to leave it at that. You can have an hour of one-on-one tutoring included in this Sure Pass Pro option. Okay. But let's say, you go Sure Pass. I just need QBank, just need on-demand videos for the time being. And you realize down the road, oof, I still need that tutor. We can still provide a tutoring session for you. Please know we are available for you. As a tutor, like we are here, not just through the Sure Pass Pro option. But I will say, going this route and recognizing you need a tutor later and paying for that separate, it is a little bit more expensive than the Sure Pass Pro option where you just have that bundled in already. It saves you a few bucks, okay? But I am also here to say, as a former student, whether that's through undergrad or grad school, as someone who was working while in school and have a family while I was getting my master's degree, I know not only is time precious, as I said, but your dollars are precious too, right? You're trying to make ends meet as you're going through school and working full time. And I'm telling you that the Sure Pass Pro package and Sure Pass Pro packages are so affordable, guys. I would not be sitting here sharing this and expressing my passion for these products as much as I am if I didn't firmly believe in that. These are affordable for all seasons of life, whether you're newbie undergrad, fresh out of high school, whether you are, working full time, going back to school, you have a family, all money is precious, right? And so it will save you, these packages will save you some money in the long run. Okay, one more QR code and then we'll go ahead and start. I'm passionate about our work here, you guys. So sorry if that takes a little bit more of your time than you anticipated, but one more QR code, our feedback survey. I want to say I got feedback yesterday from people who were joining my webinars, and I heard you. You said, I liked these combined system questions that you gave us at the end. I wish we had more time for them. I wish we could do more. I've created more, okay? And if we get to a time where we're going to run out of time and we're not going to be able to, get through all the combined system questions, if you're willing, I'm able to just maybe offer one practice question in our individual, units, just reproductive or just urinary, so that I can jump ahead and get to those combined system questions. What I'm saying is I heard your feedback because you filled out this feedback survey. And I'm catering your desires, your needs in this webinar today to meet that need. So thank you to those yesterday who filled out our feedback survey. Please scan this QR code now so that at the end you don't forget about it. Tell me what you loved about this webinar, but also tell me how we can improve this webinar for you. What would you like to see done a little differently to improve it? All right. I'm here to serve you as our pre-nursing students. So please let me hear your voice. All right, with that being said, let's go ahead and begin our reproductive system practice questions. For those of you who joined yesterday, you know how this works, but I'm going to go ahead and say it anyway in case we've got some new people joining, and I hope we do. So what's going to happen is on your exam, you're going to have 60 questions. No, excuse me, you're going to have 60 minutes to complete the science portion of your exam. About 50 questions will be on that science portion of the exam. So when you do, 60 divided by 50, it rounds out to about a minute. Not quite, but we're rounding. A minute per question. So that's what I'm going to give you for your practice questions today. I am not going to read your questions out loud to you. I am simply going to announce that the next question has started, and I will start your timer. When the timer goes off, then I will read the question and we will talk about why the answer is the correct answer and why the incorrect options are incorrect, with a little bit of teaching, along the way. Okay, I hope you guys are ready, because your first reproductive system question begins. Right, our minute is up. Thank you to those who are sharing your answer choices in the chats. I appreciate you. It helps me understand, are we really understanding this question well, or are we not understanding this question well? How can I better explain myself in my explanations to help you see why this answer was correct? So far I'm seeing all correct answers so far. Good job to all of you, but just encouraging everybody who's watching, go ahead and share out your answer choices. If you are joining on Zoom, only I can see your answers. If you're joining me on YouTube or Facebook, those answer responses are public, but that's okay. Don't let that stop you. What's important is that we're engaging with each other and I can see what you're thinking so I can better help you understand and make you feel good about the stuff you do understand. Okay, so if the fallopian tubes are tied during a tubal ligation, what function does that patient lose? So remember, fallopian tubes are that tube connecting the ovary down to the uterus. It's that transportation tube. It will allow the eggs to leave the ovary and travel down to the uterus. So if those tubes are tied off during a tubal ligation, one way to prevent pregnancies, if people, are done having children, or maybe they never want children and they just want those tubes tied, this will prevent eggs from traveling to the uterus. And it also prevents sperm from meeting that egg and getting fertilized. So we don't even have, like a tubal ligation pregnancy happening. We're separating off the egg from even coming into contact with sperm. So answer C was correct based on that explanation. Good job to all those who chose C. Answer A was incorrect. A tubal ligation will not affect any kind of muscle control in the uterus. Answer B was incorrect. Tubal ligation, it doesn't interfere with the ovaries' function. So the ovaries are still going to produce eggs. All right. We're not shutting down that system. Ovaries will still produce eggs. That patient will still produce eggs. It's just that with a tubal ligation, that egg can't travel down into the uterus and it can't come into contact with sperm for fertilization. And then finally, answer D was incorrect. This describes a male reproductive process, not a female. So this, I think D was sperm not being able to leave the epididymis. Again, completely male anatomical structures there, not female. So that can be quickly ruled out on your test. All right, question 2 is up and your minute starts. Okay, welcome back, everybody. Question 2 says, which of the following reproductive structures do men and women share? That is option C, your urethra. The urethra present in both males and females. Remember, this is the structure that connects to the bladder to the outside of your body. This is going to carry urine from your bladder outside of your body when you go to the bathroom. Answer A was incorrect. Seminal vesicles, these are male-only structures, right? Females don't have seminal vesicles. Seminal vesicles create this nourishing fluid for sperm. It's like a sugary substance that's food for that sperm. Answer B is incorrect as well. The cervix is female only, and this is going to be that structure that dilates to allow for baby to leave the uterus, and it also helps to protect baby when baby is growing in that womb as well. Answer D was incorrect. Labias are external features on the female anatomy to protect and surround all of those other external features. Let's move into the integumentary system. Your minute begins. All right, question 3. A nurse observes that a patient's skin is flushed, so it's going to be red-like, right? And warm to the touch after prolonged exposure to heat. Maybe it sounds like they're going through a heat stroke. Which response best explains this observation? So what's going on in the anatomy and the physiology to give rise to these symptoms this nurse is observing? The correct answer to this was C. The dermal blood vessels are dilating. Remember, we said when the body is overheating, those blood vessels are going to dilate. They're going to expand to increase surface area to release heat efficiently as fast as possible, bringing that internal temp back down into homeostasis. Okay. So whereas when it's cold, we talked about yesterday, blood vessels will actually constrict to preserve heat. But when a patient has been exposed to heat, our blood vessels actually dilate. And that's what's giving rise to that flushed red tone in that skin. Okay, let's talk about why the other options are incorrect. Answer A was incorrect. Those apocrine glands are involved in stress-related sweating. And if you were to touch your patient, if they were sweating, you would feel evaporative cooling. It would actually feel a little bit more cool to the touch instead of warm to the touch. Answer B was incorrect. Subcutaneous fat will insulate. That will like preserve heat. It really wouldn't help to remove heat. And answer D was incorrect as well. The sebum will help to lubricate skin. It does not regulate temperature. Okay, so that oil, that sebum that will lubricate skin does not regulate temperature. Question 4 begins. Okay. Question 4, which of the following best explains why someone with damage to their sweat glands might experience difficulty maintaining homeostasis? So if they have damage to their sweat glands, what's going to go on, right? If their structure is faulty, what function are they losing or is not being done properly, which would lead to difficulty maintaining homeostasis? The correct answer here is C. And I have to chuckle for a moment. You know, I'm a public school teacher. I teach high school science, and very rarely do I ever give like multiple choice questions. Mine are always long answer case study type stuff. But they always say, oh, multiple choice questions. Chris, correct answer is always C. Well, my goodness, based on the arrangement we've had so far, that's definitely been the pattern. But eventually, maybe you start to second guess yourself, like, my goodness, could it really be C again? It absolutely is in this case. The correct answer is C. Your sweat glands are going to help the body release sweat when you're under stress due to the heat in your environment. And so if your sweat glands are damaged, you're not able to excrete, whether that be the water, the salt, and then as you sweat, remember, that causes evaporative cooling on the surface. That helps your body to maintain that internal temperature. So not only are you not going to be able to excrete properly, you're also not going to be able to take advantage of evaporative cooling to bring that body temperature back down where it needs to be. Answer A was incorrect. Temperature sensation. This is mediated by your nerve endings, okay? Not by sweat glands. Answer B was incorrect. The skin is going to excrete minerals. It does not reabsorb them, okay? So absorption, this is not done to maintain homeostasis. Answer D, also incorrect. Again, we talked about sebum. This is that oily substance. It's not temperature regulating, but it does help to lubricate the skin. Okay, moving into the endocrine system. All right, awesome. I'm seeing good responses in our chats. Which of the following endocrine glands controls body temperature, internal balance, thirst, hunger, sleep, etc.? Well, look at this list. It's a pretty diverse list, right? Hopefully that helps you to think about which answer choice would be the most logical. Hopefully you chose the hypothalamus. C, okay? Hypothalamus. The hypothalamus regulates all internal balances. But also remember, the hypothalamus is going to be the gland that controls the pituitary gland, which is the master gland. Hence why this list is so diverse and lengthy. The hypothalamus will help to regulate all homeostasis in the body. Answer A is incorrect. The pineal gland, this is going to regulate sleep by producing melatonin. Remember, we talked yesterday, melatonin is that natural sleep aid. Some people take it, like a gummy of melatonin, a pill of melatonin, maybe to help regulate their sleep schedules. But your body naturally produces this all on its own through the pineal gland. Answer B was incorrect. The thyroid regulates your metabolism, not all of these other things with it. Answer D was incorrect. Adrenal glands, remember that's found by your kidneys. This is going to release hormones in that fight or flight stress response. So it will release the cortisol or epinephrine for adrenaline for that fight or flight response. So that's kind of the opposite, right? Not maintaining homeobalance or homeobalance, my goodness, not maintaining balance like homeostasis in the body. Adrenal gland would actually drive you further away from that. Maybe be a positive feedback loop if we're connecting back to yesterday's learning. All right, question 6 is up. Go ahead. All right, question 6. If someone is diagnosed with type 1 or type 2 diabetes, which endocrine organ is not functioning correctly? And finally, we're out of the correct answer. C range. Good job to everybody who switched it up and chose A. The pancreas. The pancreas is an endocrine gland, an organ that will regulate blood sugar levels. Remember, we talked about yesterday that the pancreas will work in tandem with the liver. It will store those individual glucose monomers into stored glycogen for later when blood sugar is too high. And it will even communicate with the liver so that the liver can release those like long chain stored sugars into monomers, individual subunits when the blood sugar is too low and we need to raise it back up. So the pancreas is the gland that is going to release insulin and glucagon in order to get that job done. Answer B was incorrect. The pineal gland produces melatonin to regulate sleep, nothing to do with regulating blood sugars. Answer C was incorrect. The parathyroid, this is going to have a role in regulating calcium in the blood, not sugar in the blood, calcium in the blood. That's the role of parathyroid. Answer D, also incorrect. Gonads, ovaries, testes, they are going to regulate sexual development and reproduction. Nothing to do with blood sugar. Let's move into the urinary system with question 7. What is the name of the tube that connects the kidneys to the urinary bladder? So remember, you've got kidneys on your right and your left side, and you're going to have a tube connecting to each kidney on the right and the left of your body down to that bladder. Those tubes are called your ureters. Ureters are going to connect the kidney down to the bladder so that we can transport urine as it's being filtered through that kidney and ready to leave the body. Okay, answer A was incorrect. Fallopian tubes. These are only unique to women. And if we're talking about kidneys and urinary bladder, everybody's got that, right? So let's not choose a structure that is unique to one sex over another. Fallopian tubes are going to connect the ovaries to the uterus, has nothing to do with urine. Will not connect to the bladder. Answer B was incorrect. Vas deferens, again, only applying to male anatomy here. So let's not choose that because we know a bladder and urine is applying to everybody. Vas deferens are unique to males. This is the tube structure that's going to transport sperm from the epididymis to the urethra during ejaculation when that sperm is ready to leave the body. Answer D is incorrect. The urethras, these are found in all, right? Males and females, but the urethra allows for the urine to leave the body. We want the tube that connects the kidneys to the bladder, still all internal. The urethra is going to bring the urine outside of your body as you go to the bathroom. Question 8 begins. Which structure in the urinary system is primarily responsible for filtering blood and forming urine? This is the role of your kidneys. So answer B is correct. Kidneys, this is the primary organ responsible for filtering waste from the blood. And I have to give a shout out to our on-demand videos again, because I know when I taught this content yesterday, again, surface level, right? Our webinars are surface level. I know in our on-demand videos, we go into so much more depth about exactly how do the kidneys filter? How does that job get done? Please check out our on-demand videos, 24-hour free period. All right. Answer A is incorrect. That urethra is the tube connecting the bladder to the outside of the body, does not filter blood. Urethra is simply a transportation tube. Answer C is incorrect. The bladder is going to store the urine coming from the kidney. It does not form urine. It does not filter blood. Answer D was also incorrect. Our ureters connect to the kidneys. They transport urine from the kidney to the bladder. Ureters do not filter blood and they don't form the urine. Let's go ahead and move into our immune system. Let's do a couple questions about the immune system. Here we go. Question 9. All right, that one may have taken you the full minute. There's a lot to think about there, right? When we are asked to distinguish, that means really identify the differences. How is innate different than adaptive immunity? And if you chose answer B, you are correct here. Remember, adaptive immunity, this is going to be long term. Adaptive immunity forms memory cells, okay? So this allows the body to respond more quickly in the future if it were to ever come into contact with that pathogen again. Innate immunity, this is quick. This is something that you have from earlier on. It's not involved with memory cells and it responds to all pathogens in the same way because it doesn't have that lasting memory. It just goes on the offense right away and in the same consistent manner, no matter what pathogen it is encountering. Answer A was incorrect. The opposite circumstance is true here. Innate provides general immunity, where adaptive will be specific because it has those memory cells. Answer C was incorrect. Innate is present and immediate from birth. Remember, that's that first form of defense. It's something you have right away. Adaptive immunity is something that develops over time. So this is why babies, and I think about babies right now because I have a 4-month-old of my own. And right now with the measles going around and being spread here in the Midwest, we've had some of our first confirmed cases in the state that I live in. She doesn't have that adaptive immunity response to some of these pathogens that are being spread, right? All she has right now is this innate immunity. It's immediate from birth. She has not acquired those memory cells yet. Okay. Answer D is incorrect. Physical barriers like the skin are innate, right? You're born with skin. This is that first physical barrier that you have to protect your body. I mean, right away, right? As soon as you're born and you're coming into contact with the outside world, you've got skin. It's your first physical barrier. That's innate. It's not adaptive. You are not adapting and acquiring those physical barriers over time. Okay, question 10 begins. Awesome job, guys. I just want to say that there's a few of you in our chat, so I think I've gotten every single question right so far. Awesome job to you guys. You're studying, you're learning, you're investing in yourself and your future and in your future patients, and I'm just very proud of you. So good job to you. Question 10 says, which cell type is primarily responsible for producing antibodies? If you chose answer D, you are correct here. Those are those B cells, okay? B cells are going to produce antibodies in response to specific antigens during that adaptive immune response. Remember, these are memory cells. These are going to come into contact with really specific things. And when it does so, it produces antibodies that it can use in the future if ever it comes into contact with that specific antigen again. Answer A was incorrect. Helper T cells. These are helpers. They help to activate the B cells, but they don't make the antibodies themselves. All right. They have an indirect role, but not a direct role in making antibodies. That's the B cell. Cytotoxic T cells, a different type of T cell. And we talked about yesterday how cytotoxic, cyto will always mean cell, toxic, deadly. All right, so this is a cell that induces death. T cells will kill infected cells. They don't produce antibodies. And then finally, macrophages. Did not cover this in our webinar yesterday because, again, webinars surface level stuff. You can find this type of material in our on-demand videos, though. Macrophages will engulf pathogens, but they do not produce antibodies. They will engulf. It's like they surround themselves and eat it, digest it, break it down, but they don't make antibodies. Okay, for the sake of time, actually, you know what? I think we're doing okay on time. I'm going to go ahead and give us multiple skeletal questions, and then we'll jump into those combined systems that people really seemed to enjoy yesterday. Go ahead and begin question 11. Okay, bone building is done by what, whereas bone degrading is performed by what? So our bone building in our skeletal system is going to be done by osteoblasts. Remember, I said build, blast, osteoblast, build. Osteoclasts degrades, destroys. I need to find another C word, some sort of C word that's synonymous with degrade, destroy. If you think of one, please let me know. Share it out in the chat, and I can use that in the future because we've got this play on words here with blast as building, bone building. So this is a bone cell that will build more bone tissue. Blast builds. Clasts. Let me know if you think of one. A C word that means destroy, degrade. Answer A was correct here. Again, osteoblast build bone, osteoclast destroys bone. Answer A was, oh, crush. Yes, thank you for someone sharing that in the chat. I love that. I'm gonna use it, I promise. Or clashes. I like these. Check out a future webinar. You're gonna see your own words used here because I like that a lot. Oh, I have a typo here. I apologize. Answer B was incorrect. This is the opposite circumstance. So this one had osteoblast as destroying, and it had osteoclast as building. That was answer B here, which was incorrect. The opposite was true. Answer C was also incorrect. These are bone types, right? Long bones, short bones. These are bone types. They're definitely not bone cells with jobs like building or degrading. Long bones will provide stability, and short bones will help to provide some mobility, like in the hands, for example, but they're not going to build bone or degrade bone. Answer D was incorrect. Osteons did not talk about this yesterday, but you betcha we covered it in our on-demand videos. Osteons are like the functional unit of compact bones. When we want to talk about like an individual bone unit out of all the bone tissue, you look and you zoom in on one osteon. All right. Lots of micro anatomy to learn there about osteons. Check it out in our on-demand videos. But these are going to generate osteocytes, which are bone cells that can specialize into osteoblasts or osteoclasts. All right. So there's like a huge domino effect here, starting with osteons, but osteons, not the actual bone cells, and specifically these types of bone cells that are going to build or degrade. And the second part of that is that haversian canals. These are found in the middle of an osteon. Haversian canals will have some blood supply and nerves traveling through it. All right, question 12. Your minute starts. All right, nice job, everybody. This one seems kind of easy, doesn't it? Which bone type protects vital organs and is typically thin and flat? This is going to be the role of flat bones. Yesterday in our webinar, we talked about the sternum, right? So that breastbone right in the middle of the, well, I should say medial superior portion of your chest. You've got your sternum or your breastbone. It's thin, it's flat because there's some really vital organs sitting right behind it, right? Like the heart on the left-hand side, your lung tissue, essential vital organs. So D was correct. Yep, flat bones like a sternum protects, and also the ribs, your skull. Sorry, another typo there. Skull also all are going to protect those internal organs. Okay, answer A was incorrect. Long bones, like your femur, like your ulna, these support weight and support movement. They provide stability under that weight. They're not going to protect vital organs. Same thing with short bones. Short bones are going to provide stability. They're cube shaped, definitely not thin and flat. Okay, these are the short, squatty, cube shaped bones. Think phalanges. Answer C is incorrect. Irregular bones. These are all unique and complex in their shape. Like we talked about yesterday, the vertebrae. Okay, so these are not thin and flat by any means. Irregular is just kind of all over the place. Okay, now for some combined system questions. I've got at least, I think, 4 here, if I remember right. Let me see what time. Oh, we're doing great on time, you guys. Let's go ahead and begin. All right. Question 13. Which systems work together to support pregnancy from conception all the way to birth? So hopefully right away you're thinking, well, reproductive system for sure, right? If we have to conceive, we have to be able to reproduce. That's the reproductive system, which when you look at all your answer options, you can quickly rule out everything but A, just by some basic, quick common sense there, right? So reproductive is going to support conception, right? We want to get that egg fertilized. The reproductive system for both male and female will be a part of that work, conceiving, getting that egg fertilized, and then letting that egg gestate and develop in the womb, in the uterus, up until it's ready to be birthed. But also the endocrine system, because the endocrine system is going to release hormones and woo, hormones are the heart and soul for why all of this happens in the reproductive system, right? releasing the egg, letting that embryo develop. Like all of that is regulated by hormones. So many different types of hormones. If you've ever carried a child, you know the power of those hormones. So answer A is correct, reproductive and endocrine. Okay, answer B was incorrect. Skeletal system, digestive system, definitely not responsible in any way for reproduction. Skeletal movement, your bones do kind of move a little bit, right? Like your hips, they do shift. Digestive system is also altered as your baby grows and it puts pressure on that stomach. So things like shift in the skeletal system and digestive system, but by no means are they responsible for conceiving or birth. Answer C was incorrect. Answer C was, let me look here. I've got respiratory and immune system. So respiratory immune system, definitely just supporting the general health of baby and mother as baby is growing in that womb and it's ready for birth, but nothing to do with gestation. Answer D was incorrect. Urinary changes. This changes during pregnancy. All right. Your urinary system will alter a little bit during pregnancy as more pressure is put on that bladder. You're not able to hold as much, right? You put more pressure, you decrease as much space. It increases the volume of that bladder and it makes you have to go more frequently. So that will change, but it's not regulating conception or birth. Okay, question 14 begins. A patient is experiencing rapid breathing due to anxiety. Which two systems are primarily interacting to create the response? If you chose answer B, you are correct here. Your nervous system is going to detect that anxiety due to, the release of different types of hormones when one is anxious, thanks to endocrine system. And then the respiratory system is going to kick in, recognizing that there's some anxiety going on here, and your body is starting to go into that, like that fight or flight mode. Again, thanks to the endocrine system. So your respiratory system recognizes this and says, hey, we need to breathe faster. We need to pump more oxygen to the cells in our body so that we can generate enough energy to sustain that fight or flight circumstance. Because if you're fighting, if you're in that fight or flight response, you need more energy to undergo those changes. And to get more energy through cell respiration, you need more oxygen. So your respiratory system ramps up there. So if you chose answer B, you are correct. Answer A was incorrect. The endocrine is going to release these stress hormones, but it's not responsible for the respiration piece. It's not responsible for the heavy breathing to get oxygen to those bodily cells. Answer C was incorrect. These systems support movement, but they are not responsible for the breathing changes caused by that stress. Okay, so these were the muscles in the skeletal system. It's going to support movement, nothing to do with breathing. Answer D was incorrect. Answer D was digestive and urinary. These systems just unrelated to breathing and anxiety altogether. Go ahead and begin question 15. Okay, a patient has a broken femur, unable to bear weight, and has muscle weakness. Which two systems must coordinate to allow movement to return after healing? The correct answer here is A, skeletal and nervous system. So the nervous system is going to send those signals to your skeletal muscles to contract in order to move those actual bones. So we've got the nervous system and the skeletal system working at play here. Muscular system also involved, right? But I asked for just two systems and muscles wasn't an option on your previous list. So it's just the skeletal system and nervous system that I was looking for in this question. Answer B was incorrect. Answer B was endocrine and urinary system. It's got nothing to do, right, with movement and muscles and skeletal system. That one can just be ruled out. Answer C, these were important for skin repair and for immunity, but not for movement. Answer D, also incorrect. Breathing, digestion, not involved in skeletal muscle coordination, right? Like breathing, I guess, like in a really roundabout, indirect way. You breathe, you get an oxygen for cell respiration to generate energy so that you can move. All right. But like super indirect connection there. We just wanted the two systems coordinating to directly allow for movement. All right, let's do one more. All right. Answer A was correct here. After a high protein meal, which two systems coordinate to digest proteins and remove that extra nitrogenous waste? So the digestive system will immediately start acting on those proteins. We break down proteins into amino acids. Amino acids contain nitrogen. So if someone has a high protein meal, you're going to end up with an excess of nitrogen in your body. And we can only use so much, right? And so it gets rid of that extra nitrogen through the urinary system. So the digestive system and the urinary system are communicating, they're coordinating to get rid of that excess nitrogen in that high protein meal that they consumed. Answer B was incorrect. The endocrine system definitely is going to regulate hormones, but does not, it's not involved in direct breakdown of proteins into amino acids. Okay. The endocrine system can influence metabolism, right? Through that thyroid gland. It can influence metabolism, but it's not going to coordinate to specifically digest protein and get rid of that extra waste. Answer C was incorrect. These systems transport gases in blood. So that's the respiratory system and the cardiovascular system here. We're moving around gases like oxygen, carbon dioxide, and blood, but we're not breaking down proteins in those systems, and we're not getting rid of nitrogen in that system. And finally, answer D was incorrect. They just don't play a role in any kind of metabolic waste removal at all. Okay, that wraps up our practice test for the second half of anatomy. Thank you for everybody who has joined me today. I'm going to pop these QR codes up again because I hope you enjoyed our practice test. I hope you find yourself wanting more practice questions and greater in-depth learning, right? Because that's what's going to take to excel at your exam. You get free 24 hours for our Q Bank and our on-demand videos. Scan those QR codes. Also get signed up for more free live webinars, not just in science, in math, and in reading and grammar, you name it. So please get those on your calendar as well. And keep in mind, if you ever miss one, go back and rewatch any that you miss. And be sure to check out our packages that we offer. Okay, SurePass is going to give you access to our QBank and on-demand. And SurePass Pro, you're going to get QBank and on-demand videos as well, but you're also going to get a discounted rate of tutoring included in that package there. Okay, I'm also going to take you to, here's our tutors, by the way. I want to take you to the survey quick. Okay, please, everybody, fill out this webinar survey. As I said before, and some of you are back with me today. I heard your feedback yesterday. You said, I like combined system questions. I wish I had more time for them. I wish we could have done more. I did my best to squeeze more in for you, given we only had an hour together, right? So I'm hearing you. I want to hear your voices. I want to hear your ideas. Share with me what you love about these webinars. Share with me some constructive criticism. What would you like to be seen or to be done differently? You spoke and I listened. So please know that I want to continue hearing your voices. So I'll go ahead and leave this up. If anyone wants to hang out or ask a question in the chat, I'll be here for a couple more minutes and then I'm going to go ahead and hop off. I hope you guys have a beautiful Wednesday. Like I said, Wednesday, you're halfway through your week. You're on the downhill slide and it'll be the weekend before you know it. So I hope you enjoy the rest of your day and thank you so much for joining me.